Okay, I am checking on the garden this evening and thought I would just give a little tour of what exactly is going on right now in the garden. This is new this year. This is a Frere trellis, and the reason I added this to the garden is because my garden has become extremely shaded with all of these trees over the years, and I wanted to expand into an area with more sun. So that's why I put the Frere trellis here, and I'm using grow bags. So the trellis just goes straight into the ground. It's extremely sturdy. And then I'm using string and tomato clips to support the tomatoes that are growing in 7-gallon grow bags. In addition to the tomatoes that I have along the Frere trellis, I also have some peppers. They don't really need trellising. They're just here for sun. And these are cowpeas. These are going to get extremely tall, and they will also climb up the trellis. And over here, I've got a mystery pumpkin or squash that is starting to form a little guy, and he is attaching himself to the trellis. Along here, we've got more 7-gallon grow bags, and these are all dwarf tomatoes. I have never grown dwarf tomatoes before, and these are all different varieties, and they work with these terrible metal tomato cages because they won't get much taller than what you see here. I have 5 of these metal 2x8 metal raised beds in the garden, 4 white ones going like this, again trying to get more sun, and then in the back I've got a metal one that we'll go see in a minute. This is husband's salsa garden. I do have some of my stuff in here. I've got strawberry blonde and zeolites calendula going at the end for pollinators, and then he's got his pepper plants, a bell pepper, a hot pepper. He's got basil and tomatoes. And then I tried transplanting. I don't know if this guy's going to make it. I tried transplanting this mystery hot pepper out of a grow bag into here because some space freed up, but it is looking, granted, we've been having 90-degree days, but he's looking not happy. I'm going to take some of the leaves off just to be able to, I don't know, maybe it won't have to focus so much effort if I take some of the leaves off, and it'll have a better chance of surviving. But yeah, he's not looking super happy. We'll see if he bounces back. Brian's here. He just got the #1 gifter badge. Then I've got a cattle panel arch over here using T-posts, and this is where I've got some stupid experiments going on with an upside down pepper, and in the top I planted some calendula, and then over here I have an upside down dahlia. And what's going on in here? A couple calendula. I just threw some seeds in here. I like using the arches obviously to grow things up and over, but then also I maximize my vertical growing space by using gutter planters that I fashioned DIY style, and these have strawberries in them. And then, so growing up this cattle panel, we've got Thai long beans. I saw Brian, the garden voyeur, grow those one year and decided I needed to grow them too. They're super fun. Cucamelons, garbanzo beans, black beans, loofah, tromboncino squash, a black-eyed Susan Thunbergia, I don't know how to say it, vine. What else is going on over here? This is, oh my God, this is one of my favorite things in the garden. This is a raspberry shortcake, thornless raspberry bush. So I can easily just stick my hand in here and move it around. There's no thorns while I'm looking for berries. But this guy will spread via runners in the ground. Now he's popping up everywhere. Oh, this is something new to me. I wonder if any of you guys have grown this before. This is a Mina lobata. It's some type of flowering, climbing vine. I don't know. This is new to the garden this year also, in addition to the Frere trellis. I built this Jankety obelisk because I wanted to have something dedicated solely to cucamelons. My husband and I both really, really love cucamelons, so I built this obelisk with just some 2x2s, and then I've got fishing line going up it. Someone yelled water. Are you getting the smoke? No. Oh, you're talking about like from the Canadian fires. We are not getting the smoke. Blueberry bushes that have bird netting to keep the birds and the squirrels from eating them all. And then this is very indicative of my gardening style. This bed is such a hodgepodge of celery and Swiss chard. That's a volunteer sunflower, a Tithonia getting ready to go. We've got dill, super tall dill, straw flowers, peppers, kale, borage, just all kinds of things. I like really mixing up all different kinds of plants in one bed instead of planting like all cabbage, all kale. I think it works better for the pollinators. It's better for hedging my bets in terms of things not getting taken out by a pest. All right, this is my back metal bed, and I just used the trees and hung up some horse fencing. And so over here we've got the cucumbers, and we've got cucamelons. Here's a new to me cucumber this year. This is one of the dragon egg cucumbers, which is really good, but it has more seeds in it than I would like. And I've got a couple ground cherries in this bed, and I just gave all of the calendula in this bed a giant haircut because most of them were going to seed, and it was just looking super straggly. And then I also have some strawberries going in this bed also. Okay. More jumbled up bed. This was supposed to be a pepper bed, but I never ripped out the celery and the Swiss chard and the kale. So that's all going in here also. And then this is super cool. These are Egyptian walking onions. So what happens is they form bulbils at the top. They get heavy. They fall over and they plant themselves. Look, here's one that's disconnected. And so they walk all over your garden because they plant themselves a little bit further from where they started. I just think that's really cool. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see. Also, word of caution, if you grow cucamelons, you will find them everywhere because when the birds or the squirrels take them and scatter them, I have cucamelons growing everywhere, and none of which I planted myself. Look, here's one that's growing in the rocks. And so I just started training it and gave it something to climb up. This is the dahlia bed. I'm going to stand on this bench so you can see. This is the dahlia bed and cosmos. So it's got cosmos all along the outside, dahlias on the inside, and I've got the T-posts and the Hortanova netting to provide some stability. And what's really exciting is today I have my first dahlia bloom. She does not have a name because she was grown from seed. It'll be interesting to see when some more from the same plant open up, what it looks like. And then this is like, I don't know, like a mutant dahlia. It was that tall last year, grown from seed. This will be its second year, and it is just ginormous. I think last year it got almost 10 feet tall, and it's getting ready to open. And then I've got a K.A.'s Mocha Joe getting ready to open. I'm very excited for the dahlias. In the rest of the raised metal beds, I've got, 5 tomatoes. So I put a tomato in each of these super tall cages. Then I use twine to create support for tomatoes in between each cage. And I'm growing a bunch of new to me varieties this year, which I'm super excited about. But I'm also growing new to me white marigolds. And I know they're not white, they're pale yellow, but to me, they are so much better than the primary colors because the primary colors are not my jam. Like to me, this one is more white than the others, so I'm gonna save seeds from that one. Ew, look at that. I don't know what you are. I don't know if you're friend or foe. I'm just gonna leave you. We'll let nature sort it out. I just saw something else. Oh, what is that? I can't tell what it is. Oh, it's a leaf-footed bug. So this guy's a not good guy, and if I had two hands, I'd get rid of him. Don't love that guy. All right, this bed is a hot mess. This bed was supposed to be edamame. The slugs destroyed it. Then I planted lettuce. The slugs destroyed it. So now it's just a hodgepodge of random dahlias and kale and I don't know what else. Volunteer borage is popping up everywhere, and I'm realizing borage, they're so delicious. They taste like cucumber. They're edible. Yum. It needs support. Like, it's not very sturdy. So next year I need to plan a little bit better. Make sure there's some support for the borage. All right. Second cattle panel arch. Growing on this one, I've got gutter lettuce, which is outgrowing its space. And I do need to transplant this into this bed where it gets a lot of shade. That's the plan. But growing up this arch, this is a cup and saucer vine, but it has no blooms on it yet. Brian sent a finger heart. Brian, what the heck is a finger heart, Lord? And we have the upside down tomato, which surprisingly enough was the first tomato in my garden to ripen, was the upside down one. And it was planted probably later. Oh my God, that's good. Than all the others. This is either a sun sugar or a sun gold. I don't know. I'm terrible with labeling. Holy cow, it's so good. I've been adding on to this area. It's also a hodgepodge. Can you get the theme here? And it's got random things like salvia and eucalyptus and milkweed and dahlias and false indigo, rosemary, a David Austin rose, hydrangeas, heuchera, a pitcher plant, a cardoon, irises. It's just, I don't know what's happening here. It's like schizophrenic. So that is real quick, kind of what is going on in the garden right now. The tomatoes are getting so tall. Like, can you guys see how tall these tomatoes are? Look how tall that, let me step back. Like, look how tall they are. Look at that guy. And they almost all have fruit on them, I think. Yep. Like, I think this is a Genovese Castelluto or a Castelluto Genovese. So all the tomatoes are looking really good despite having that horrible week of way too much rain. Let's go check on the compost. All right, this pile was flipped. I probably didn't take notes on when I did it. What do we got going on? Oh, look at that. I would say that is like 136, maybe 136, 137. I love it. Brian's asking if we get rabbits. Yes, we definitely get rabbits. It's interesting what they choose to eat. I have found that by planting borders of alliums around my beds causes them to not be as interested. But of course, I've pulled all the alliums, and so now it's kind of like fair game. All the snapdragons, they're petering out, but I do want to save seeds. Here we go. I want to let the seed pods dry so I can save seeds. Same with the bells of Ireland. I want to save seeds from those. So things are looking a little rough while I let it go to seed so that I don't have to buy those seeds next year. Oh, here's something. Anyone know what these are? These volunteered. We purposefully grew this plant in this bed last year, and at harvest time, obviously, something happened. So does anyone know what these are. I wonder if there's any of the like identifying. Ooh, we've got a couple of the Candyland tomatoes ready. Oh, let's see. Maybe, I don't know if that's ready or not. I've never grown this variety before. Let's taste it. It was just meh. Maybe I should give it a little bit longer. It was just okay. Oh, look at these. Just really loving these marigolds. And I'm really loving, like, I don't love the yellow-orange flowers, so I really love these calendula because they're just so unique in their coloring. I think that's it. I think that's it for the garden tour this evening. What's the screen saying to join your team? Yeah, Brian, we need to have a steam off, but I want to let it cook a little bit longer at 136 because I have that Proven Winners pot in it that I'm trying to test how it will compost in a home compost system. So I want to leave it just a little bit longer. But once it starts cooling down, we can do a steam off for sure. What is the screen saying to join your team? I don't know, but I did join your team and I keep giving like badges and stuff. And then I keep rising in terms of my level on your team. I don't know. I don't know what it means. These are the same tomato cages I have, but these are like a medium size and I find them they're good for dahlias. And then I have the small ones over there and I love those for peppers. And that is what's going on in the garden. I've been slowly working on adding a bunch of shade plants like heuchera, ferns, and hellebores. There's some hellebores. To make like the surrounding areas look nicer, and hostas, just for sitting and enjoying the garden. Everyone always asks me why I have these clay pots on my T-posts, and y'all, it's so I don't impale myself. I've heard horror stories of people like punching their throat out or gouging their eye out when they have posts without protection on them in their garden. Brian, you became the number 3 member on the team, so who's 1 and 2? And yeah, can someone tell us, what does it mean to join someone's team? Like, I don't understand. And Brian, how do I see who else is on my team? I don't even know. I'm like clicking things right now, of course, but it doesn't show me. Team. Members in this live, 1. Okay, so I must have 2 people on my team that are not on this live. I don't know. Oh, hey, Remy. It's okay. This is my dog that has anxiety. This is Remy. And then this is the chill guy. That's Ranger. Nothing phases him. He never makes noise. But this one makes it very hard to do lives, for sure. I just got a request from someone named Big Thunk to join the live. I don't know about that. These are, I've never grown geraniums from seed before, but these are geraniums I grew from seed. But like, this is all they do. They just flop over. So I have a whole list of things that I grew for the first time this year and whether or not I will or will not grow them again. And I'm pretty sure these geraniums are going to make the not grow again list. And then, oh, the squirrels. The squirrels have been at it. This is a mouse ears hosta. Is it not the cutest thing? And then this planter, this is another one of the thornless raspberry volunteers that I just yanked out of the ground and potted up. And then these are the Las Vegas Mix Gomphrena. Another new to me this year that I don't know. They look better over here. I don't know if I'm going to grow them again. They're kind of boring. Like, they're just really low impact. They're so tiny, right? So tiny. I would like to show you guys the Monarch way station that I have in the front yard, but I'm pretty sure if I leave the backyard where I'm on one Wi-Fi and go to the front yard, I'll lose you guys. I'll have to switch to a different Wi-Fi. Oh, here's a pansy that needs yanking. They do not like the heat. You're headed to the compost pile. And then look, here's more of see the Egyptian walking onions doing their thing, planting themselves. I guess the bulbils eventually fall off, and then that's what plants itself, and that'll become a whole new plant. I just think, like, it's so cool. Like, nature's so cool. And I'm just letting a lot of this calendula go to seed to be able to save it because I want to plant a ton more calendula next year in our side yard. Okay, I keep leveling up on your team, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Brian, I don't know what you're doing either. Anyone else on Amanda's team here can explain how to do it. Brian, I don't know if anyone knows what teams are. I'm going to take this. These were leeks that just, you know, they didn't do much. They're not even worth it to me. So I'm taking these over to the compost. Because I don't know. They're not even worth like taking inside. I've never grown leeks well. I think they like sandy soil. So this is my empty bin. This is bay 2. This is the empty one. So thanks, Buttercups 1378. I could use them for stock, Jet City Woman, but I don't know. I'm feeling lazy. And I know if I put it in my compost, it'll just end up feeding my garden. I did save some of the bigger ones, but those were so small. I was like, let's just not do it. So I'm going to add all of my garden refuse to this bin so that the next time I flip this pile into this bin, I'll have a bunch of greens I can pull out and then add in layers as I flip it. And what's awesome is on this compost bin, these side walls, they come out, but I did put spacers to allow for more airflow. But these come out, so the next time I flip this pile, I can take these out and just kind of easily move the pile over into the new bin. And then, of course, I've got my front boards that go on and off. And the reason I like having my compost contained is that my dogs do love to dig in the compost pile and eat things that they shouldn't, that makes their stomachs upset, like when we add kitchen scraps or bokashi. So that is why I like having it fully enclosed, but it's not to keep out like rats or raccoons. That is not the point of it. It's mainly to keep my dogs out. And it also just keeps the compost nice and contained and not spilling out everywhere. This is a pile that we're headed towards letting it rest. So I'm waiting for this pile to get to ambient air temperature, and then I'll mark it down, the date, sit for another 2 months before I use it in my garden. In the last few months, I did add this section and this section. So where the grass does not grow well, it's like super shaded and a lot of tree roots, I've been using the sheet mulch technique. So just on top of the grass, I laid down cardboard and then put compost on top of it and then wood chips. And so let's see, I'm not finding any cardboard. So the cardboard over here is already completely disintegrated, but in the process of it disintegrating, it smothered out all the grass. So over here, this one's a little bit newer. Here, I can feel, So there's still, the cardboard has not fully disintegrated yet, but it's on its way to doing so. And then over here, you can see one in process. So to finish this area, I had to wait until we collected more cardboard. And then I lay the cardboard down on top of the grass. If I have compost, I'll put compost on top. If I don't, then I just put wood chips because I have, see, here's more cardboard. So this is just wood chips on top of cardboard because I'm not planting in it right now. If I wanted to plant right away, like I did here, then I do a layer of compost and plant directly in the compost. I love, love, love this method. And then that area over here, I also did the same thing. I did this last year. It was grass. So where the hostas where that line of hostas were, over to here was all grass. And I decided I wanted more area to plant. So I sheet mulched it, put compost down, and then wood chips. And then I planted in it this spring, and I did pumpkin on a stick, which is really fun. It's part of the eggplant family. I have a lot of flowers, but I'm not seeing, well, here we go. Nope, not seeing any pumpkin on a sticks forming just yet. I've got a hollyhock that the Japanese beetles are decimating, plus it also has rust. Amaranth, lemongrass, foxglove, Carolina bird in a nest, maybe, a peony, a dahlia, cosmos, foxglove, cardoon, bells of Ireland. Also just planted random beans. I don't know. I just felt like it that day. It makes no sense. More foxglove, cosmos, amaranth, and dahlias. And then I tried planting some more hollyhocks, but you can see once the rest is here, it gets them all. Oh, I forgot. I've got some bunny tail going, but I don't think it's getting enough sun. And then, oh, we got beans forming. Oh my God, there's a lavender plant. Well, he's definitely not getting enough sun. I'm probably going to have to move him. Oh, I should show you guys the apple tree. Ugh, it's not good. All right. If you didn't know, if you try and grow apples and you have, where's one to show you? Any cedar trees within like a mile radius of your house, you will get something called cedar apple rust. Isn't it hideous? It makes the tree, look at these like cankers on the leaves. It makes the tree drop its leaves and almost look like it's turning colors for fall. It can cause deformities on the apples, but they're still edible from my research. So they don't look amazing, but they're still edible. We're hoping the squirrels leave us a few. We've never really gotten to harvest many apples because of the squirrels taking them all. So even if we got rid of all the cedar trees in our yard, if there are cedar trees within a mile or more, it'll keep happening. So there's no point. See how this baby apple tree, he's got it also. This is a Johnny seed apple tree. And then I've done a apple tree guild underneath with oregano, chives, beans, columbine. Oh my God, I'm blanking on this one. Comfrey. And there was I don't know what that was, but he's obviously not looking good. And husband's working on a fire pit project. And that, my friends, is what's going on in the garden right now. I do have some blueberries I could harvest, but I'm feeling lazy. A couple of tomatoes are starting to turn. Raspberries are ready. There might be a cucamelon over here. Look, there we go. One little guy. Boop. Now look, this funny thing, these are garbanzo beans. I've never grown garbanzo beans. I bought a package of dried beans from the grocery store and just planted them. And same with, here we go. Oh, let's look. These are black beans from the grocery store. They're actually not dry enough yet to harvest. But those were just from a bag of dried beans at the grocery store. I did not get really good, the germination was kind of terrible. But they're starting to grow. Well, I have one plant. That's not that great. Okay, I think on that note, I'm going to say goodnight.